All right, we are keeping the energy going, and it is so exciting. I am loving what's happening in this community, and these practices and exercises, and witnessing self, and just stepping into our highest self, practicing more self love, and more self empowerment. I'm almost like at a loss for words. So we are continuing on to this week. Again, reading that and watching this intro video, opening up that presence and boundaries is what we are working on this week. So, of course, we've gone through awakening awareness, we've gone through awakening implementation, creating supportive rhythms, and now we are into presence and boundaries. So, as you can probably tell by now, right? These are gentle like tidbits that we get to start with. It is not this huge you know, um in depth, strenuous integration or curriculum or this, spiritual, like we're gonna just blast you full of, frequency and energy and force you into a place of awakeness and self love. So again, it's gentle. It's planting a seed and it's creating practices that are repeatable, measurable, and being able to witness self, moving through it and evolving into it. So with presence and boundaries, of course, it's all about like how we again show up for ourselves. And so with this, again, we're gonna have the two exercises this week. We have our heart-led posture practice. Now, being somebody who's worked in the chiropractic industry for over 12 years, and definitely watching people's structural systems and doing, therapeutic exercise and fitness with people, gosh, it's just amazing how we lead with the top of our head, right? Which causes everything else to kind of become closed off. It's the technology today. It's not really, again, witnessing our habits and patterns. How do we move through life? How do we show up for ourselves? How does our physical body actually move through life? And so, with the heart led posture practice, we are going to transform our posture from leading with our head to leading with our heart, right? And so once we do this, and this was a pretty profound exercise, as simple as it sounds. When I was in yoga school and I did like the 200-hour immersive, lived on campus for a month with 65 individuals, and we just spent, it was almost like 12 hours a day, 6 days a week, crying and peeling away the layers of the onion, while learning how to teach yoga. And so with this, and we take our typical mountain pose and we stand tall and we lengthen through the top of our head. But one of the biggest things that we're learning to do is really open up our heart and stand in confidence. And just a simple shift of how we show up in our physical body and where we lead from can make the biggest difference in not only our own presence of how we feel about ourselves, but it's a big presence of when we walk through life. And again, this isn't about a boastful or an egotistical. This isn't about narcissism. This is about being embodied radiance, and that is a frequency. That's an energy that moves with you, through you, and radiates out of you. And it really is impressive when we are in our most like feminine, divine, self-love, self-supportive, empowered state, how big that energy is. So when we stand with confidence and we move through life with our posture, really open to love and to that empowerment, it feels it, it shows it, and it shifts the energy. So during our posture, our heart-led posture practice, the instructions are in there on how to do the practice, but I want to really touch on the fact that, taking times that we might, have that little side stance, or we're slouched and we're, not breathing as deeply, we're not feeling in ourselves, and to really just shift that simply by opening up the chest, standing tall, lengthening through the crown of the head, and just being that love based being who is just radiating this confidence and exuding it, all based on just allowing your heart to lead you. So that is the first exercise in this week. And I can't wait to see how everybody feels after standing like this for a week and really putting attention to the heart led posture practice. So, yeah, as you're out there grounding and getting sunlight first thing in the morning, make sure that you are just like allowing the chest to be open, the heart to lead you, and really filling your cup with this wonderful, vibrant energy. Um, the next exercise in this week, which oh man, so boundaries awareness. So we want to almost look at everything as though it is its own entity of energy. Right? It's not a person, it's not a thing, it's not an experience, it's not a place, it's not, it's not its physical form anymore. It is a sphere of energy. And when we become a sphere of energy and then we interact with other spheres of energy, then we have this better discernment of how does that affect me? Is this feel, and basically I always measure things based on a neutral, a positive, or a negative. So if I'm in an environment or if I'm associating with a person, and I'm just feeling this like, like something isn't like nice and easy, it first makes me go, okay, is there something about this sphere of energy that is reflected in me that I am not sure that I care for in myself? Because we are all a mirror, right? We are all a mirror reflection of each other. So what I see in others that I might not care for is exactly what I see in myself that I am usually afraid to admit that I don't care for. So that is a growth moment when we can imagine ourselves as just a sphere of energy interacting with other spheres of energy, and we are then, understanding better, is this a neutral, is this a positive, or is this a negative? For me, anything neutral and positive is fantastic, right? It's energizing, I love being in it. It's not intrusive. I don't have any preconceived like, what's happening here, why am I doing this to myself, or why am I in this situation, or what is it about this person or this experience that is causing me this, all that. So as you move through that exercise, just really try to like embody yourself first as energy, not as a human form, not as, your name, or, your profession, any of those things, or, your title in your household. You are just energy, and that energy is capable of giving, receiving, right? And self-sustaining. So when other things come into our energy field that we witness as energy alone, and not what that physical form or experience is, it gives us a little bit more of a safer way to identify if it serves us or not. In things that don't serve us, it is okay that it doesn't serve us. If it's not serving us because it's a true mirror of what we don't like in ourselves, and we're resistant to actually witness that, or like, be honest with ourselves that that's why, then, there's a little bit more work there. uh, which of course, we can always do. So if you do, I'm going to do a little shameless plug here, but if you do look at in the classroom, there are one-on-one, like, private radiant sessions where if you do want to dive a little deeper into specific situations or exercises or experiences that you've had that are maybe you're feeling like you're having a hard time overcoming it or putting it into a practice to really witness it, we can always do a private radiant session. It's an hour long, so all the details are there. Don't hesitate to go look. And I will be there to support you the way that I am going to support you in this group, in this community, in the way that every other woman is showing up as well. So just keep that in mind. But yeah, so the boundaries awareness is really just being that sphere of energy and interacting with other spheres of energy and just feeling it. And it's like you don't have to solve the problem, even though at some point if you continuously interact with a negative sphere of energy and you can already tell that it drains you, it makes you feel exhausted, it just gives you an ick, it's something about it. We can always create solutions around how to compassionately not interact with that energy as much, or protect ourselves better so that we're not as affected by it. But ultimately, the more we grow into ourselves and our practices, our embodiment, and our self love, we aren't going to be phased as much by those things as we maybe once were, because we really, possess the energy to protect ourselves no matter what, because we practice self-love and that empowerment and that embodiment. So yeah, so week 4, again, it's like awareness is going to create that self-respect and discernment around who we give our energy to, what we allow in our life. And of course, as we stand up with the most confidence and allow our heart to lead and not our head, it is just going to shift how we feel in our physical body as we move through life and interact. Okay, I will see you next week. Again, don't forget, show up, show out. Definitely keep making them great. I am so excited to see and share and win in everybody's success. Yeah, so we'll just keep going, and then making sure, again, checking the top of the community, for all of the future embodied radiance gatherings. All right, bye.